Before Bruce Lee became a global legend, Hollywood told him he was too Asian. Martial artists said he was too weak, and doctors once told him he might never walk again. This is the true story of how Bruce Lee went from rejection and pain to changing the world forever. Bruce Lee was born on November 27, 1940, in San Francisco, but he grew up in Hong Kong during a time of chaos and war. As a teenager, Bruce wasn't a hero. In fact, he was the exact opposite. He was constantly bullied, got involved in street fights, and often came home covered in cuts and bruises. His parents were worried, not because he couldn't fight, but because fighting was all he seemed to know. They knew he was heading down a dangerous path. So, in 1954, they made a decision that would change everything. Bruce was sent to train under the legendary Ip Man, a grandmaster of Wing Chun. You'd think this was the start of his heroic journey, but it wasn't that simple. Even there, Bruce faced rejection. Some of Ip Man's other students refused to train with him. Why? Because he was mixed race, part Chinese, part European. In their eyes, he wasn't pure enough to learn their sacred art. That rejection, that feeling of being an outsider, planted a seed inside him. It wasn't just a chip on his shoulder. It was a fire that would one day light up the entire world. In 1959, after getting into serious trouble with gangs in Hong Kong, Bruce Lee's parents sent him back to America with just $100 in his pocket. He was 18 years old, alone, and had to start from scratch. He wasn't a star yet. He was a survivor. He worked grueling jobs just to get by. A dishwasher, a waiter, a newspaper delivery boy, but all along, he held on to a huge dream. He wanted to be a movie star. So while he worked, he trained. And when I say he trained, I mean he trained obsessively. He pushed his body to its absolute limits, turning himself into a physical marvel. He opened his own martial arts schools, and in a move that was highly controversial at the time, he taught students of all races. He believed that martial arts, like humanity, should have no barriers. He thought that his undeniable talent and groundbreaking philosophy would be enough to open the doors of Hollywood. It wasn't. When he pitched his ideas to studio executives, they all said the same thing. Audiences aren't ready for an Asian lead. They loved his ideas, but not his face. Then came the ultimate betrayal. A TV show he had conceptualized, called The Warrior, was stolen, repackaged, and released as Kung Fu. And the lead role? It was given to a white actor, David Carradine. Bruce Lee was furious. He was heartbroken. He had been told his ideas were brilliant, but that he, the creator, wasn't good enough to star in them. Most people would have quit right there. But Bruce wasn't most people. He made a vow. If they won't give me a chance, I'll become so big, so powerful, that they'll have no choice but to see me. I'll become impossible to ignore. Just as Bruce was channeling his anger into becoming the best in the world, disaster struck. In 1970, during a routine weightlifting session, he attempted a good morning exercise with 125 pounds on his back, without warming up. He felt a snap. The pain was excruciating. He had severely injured the fourth sacral nerve in his lower back. Doctors delivered a devastating verdict. He might never walk properly again, let alone practice martial arts. For a man whose entire identity was built on movement, on the perfection of his physical self, this was a death sentence. He was confined to a bed for months, trapped in a prison of pain and stillness. This was his lowest point. But in that darkness, something powerful happened. Bruce couldn't train his body, so he trained his mind. He read hundreds of books on philosophy, psychology, and different fighting styles. He wrote. He filled notebook after notebook with his thoughts, his theories, and his frustrations. He deconstructed everything he knew about combat. He realized that traditional martial arts were too rigid, too stylized. He believed a fight was unpredictable, and your style should be too. From the ashes of his physical breakdown, a new philosophy was born. Jeet Kune, the way of the intercepting fist. Its core principle? Absorb what is useful, discard what is useless, and add what is specifically your own. He had turned his greatest weakness into his greatest strength, transforming a career-ending injury into the birth of a revolutionary art form. Bruce emerged from his recovery not just healed, but reborn. He was stronger, faster, and more focused than ever before. He had a new philosophy and a burning desire to show the world what he was capable of. He returned to Hong Kong, where he was finally given the chance Hollywood had denied him. In 1971, he starred in The Big Boss. The film shattered all box office records in Asia. Audiences had never seen anything like it. Then came Fist of Fury in 1972, and later that year, Way of the Dragon, which he wrote, directed, and starred in. The world exploded. For the first time, global audiences saw an Asian man not as a servant or a villain, but as a powerful, charismatic, and dominant hero. They saw martial arts not just as street brawling, but as a beautiful, deadly art form. They saw philosophy seamlessly blended with action. Bruce Lee wasn't just fighting bad guys on screen. He was fighting centuries of stereotypes. Every kick, every punch, every piercing scream was a strike against prejudice. He was showing the world that an Asian man could be the hero. He was no longer just a martial artist. He was a cultural phenomenon. Hollywood, the very industry that had rejected him, came crawling back. They offered him a co-production, a film that would become his masterpiece, Enter the Dragon. Bruce Lee had become impossible to ignore. On July 20th, 1973, just weeks before Enter the Dragon was set to premiere and launch him into global superstardom, the unthinkable happened. In Hong Kong, Bruce Lee complained of a headache, took a painkiller, and lay down for a nap. He never woke up. He was only 32 years old. The world was stunned into silence. How could this symbol of strength and vitality be gone so suddenly? His official cause of death was listed as brain swelling, but to this day, the circumstances remain a topic of debate and speculation. The tragic irony was that he died right at the moment his dream was being fully realized. But his legacy was already sealed. Enter the Dragon was released posthumously and became a massive international success, cementing his status as a global icon. Today, his influence is everywhere. Every mixed martial arts fighter, from Conor McGregor to Anderson Silva, studies his philosophy. The entire genre of martial arts films exists because of the door he kicked down. And millions of people around the world still live by his most famous words, "Be water, my friend." Bruce Lee's life was a testament to one powerful idea. They can reject you. They can steal your ideas. They can doubt your strength. But if you have unwavering belief in yourself and you absolutely refuse to stop, you won't just achieve your dreams. You can change the world. If this story inspired you, make sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell for more real-life stories that teach us real-life lessons. Thanks for watching.